Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday to you. Steve Collins coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, purposeful coach and speaker in the world. Hope you guys are fired up and ready for this fantastic Friday. Why you're naked and scared. Why you're naked and scared. You guys remember the television show, don't you? I mean, my kids first introduced me to it a couple of years ago, and I thought, crazy town, Naked and Afraid. It is a television show about people who allegedly have survival skills out in the wild, who have some really strong ideas about living off of the land and being naturally able to take care of themselves in unknown or unforeseen situations. So they take this unlikely couple, typically one guy and one gal that do not know each other but know a little bit about one another, and they place them in some remote place of the earth, butt naked, with very little resources. And what I mean by that is maybe an axe, or maybe some matches, or maybe a tarp. One or two little things that really you would have to be very resourceful and creative to make the most of. And the show is called Naked and Afraid. Why are you naked and afraid? Well, if you're an entrepreneur this morning, this is a feeling that I want you to get used to. Naked and afraid, what makes them naked? One, they are not clothed. What makes them afraid? They put them down in the Serengeti of Africa once. They put them down in Australia once, where there was wild animals and stuff. They put them down in the rainforest, where you have boa constrictors and you have all kinds of different wild animals out there that can take you out. They're afraid of getting hurt. They were naked, they weren't protected. They did not have what they need to protect them. And entrepreneurship is much like naked and afraid, especially if you're getting into the real estate business, because ultimately you are in a jungle or a place that you have not been, with no guarantee of security whatsoever, other than the security of your mindset to believe that you can actually get it done, and your ability to be unbelievably perseverant in the midst of constant and never-ending adversity. This is entrepreneurship, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's all about. There are no guarantees other than the fact that I guarantee if it is to be, it is up to me. If you are going to win, it's going to be your fault. There will be resources available to you. There will be opportunities available to you, but they're not falling out of the sky. On Naked and Afraid, these folks have to go and make stuff happen. They have to go and look for things. They have to create out of their own imagination the ability to survive and become as resourceful as they possibly can with very little help from outside, practically none. And get this is critically important. How the other person shows up will dramatically affect the individual's ability to succeed and survive. There are some shows where the supporting partner is very encouraging, very motivating, and they lift one another up on this journey of attempting to win the ability to stay 21 days before they come to their pickup point and get lifted out and extracted, and they win. There are other partners who go into their own selfishness and frustration and self-preservation, and they become a burden and a Debbie Downer to the other party. Who are you surrounding yourself with, ladies and gentlemen, on this journey of your entrepreneurship? Or even if you have a job, who are you surrounding yourself with? Who has influence in your life? Who is speaking in your ear words that are either lifting you up or tearing you down? Do you see how critical it can be in that component? Why are you naked and afraid? I'm glad you asked. Naked and afraid represents extreme vulnerability in an environment where you can be killed, where you can really get hurt. For the entrepreneur, there is a place that must be broken through in fear in order to truly show up powerfully in what you do. And that is getting through the fear of losing everything and being ridiculed by friends and family. At some point, a true entrepreneur is going to have to break through that, and many times break through it over and over and over again. Think of all the times that Walt Disney failed. Think of all the times that Thomas Edison failed. Think of all the times that the bigwig Steve Jobs failed. All of these folks have one thing in common. They have a history of not getting the results they intended to get consistently. What was consistent was the failure leading up to that success. They were consistent in not giving up and not quitting on that path. They learned how to deal with being naked and afraid. They learned how to deal with the feelings that accompany not having all the answers, not knowing all the answers, not having all the resources provided to you. They had to become resourceful within themselves and have the mental strength and the emotional grit to be able to persevere in dire, dangerous, and desperate circumstances in order to survive and then ultimately thrive. Are you naked and afraid? I will suggest it's because you're not really prepared, or you haven't really committed to mastering your craft at a high level. Are you afraid? It's because you really haven't allowed yourself to experience the reality that even if you do lose your house, lose your car, lose your business, lose your money, lose your stuff. Who's done that before? I have. Then everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. You can keep a soft heart and thick skin. Soft heart, thick skin, where stuff doesn't bother you, but you don't turn into a tool lording it over people. Once you break through and arrive, you become a beacon of hope, a beacon of light, a lighthouse to guide others through those treacherous waters. So ladies and gentlemen, if you find yourself naked and afraid, thinking about taking that chance, thinking about making that commitment, thinking about making that decision to move forward so that you can enjoy the things that this life has to offer you, for those of you who are willing to be courageous, just know that feeling naked and afraid is part of the deal. You'll work through it anyway. But I'm really concerned. Work through it anyway. But I don't know anything. Work through it anyway. But I'm not sure how it's going to work. Work through it anyway. But I don't have all the answers. Work through it anyway. But what do I do, Steve? You just do it. Well, what do I do, Steve? You do it. Well, what is it? You do it. But what if it doesn't work? Well, you do it again. What if it doesn't work? You do it again. What if it doesn't work? Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. You do it and do it and do it, do it, do it. The more you do it, the better you get, and the less naked and scared you will be. Have a great weekend, guys.